Her triumphs? I took a group of women that didn't believe in themselves, and I just believed in them. Her trials?
I never wanted to go to practice. I was losing a ton of weight.
Her story?
I just put my faith in God and just trusted the system.
Her why?
I want people to see what I did and say, oh, that's so awesome. I'm going to be better than that. That would be how I hope that this journey ends.
This is Her Why, where we tell the stories from BYU women's sports. Here is your host, Lauren McLean.
We're so glad you've joined us for Her Why, where we celebrate the women who make BYU sports great. And joining us now is Ari Mackey-Williams, BYU basketball player and newly baptized member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Thank you so much for being here with me today, Ari.
Thank you for having me.
We're so excited to have you. You had a successful sophomore season, started all 32 games for Coach Whiting, then you tore your ACL right before the start of your junior year. Take me through kind of what happened in that moment.
Yeah, so that was a really, really hard moment for me. I felt like in the off season, just building for the season and the preseason, I was working really hard on what I wanted to work on and just my goals and getting myself ready for the Big 12 season. I was playing international events too for my country, so it was kind of cool, and I felt like I was kind of reaching like a mountain and I was just climbing, and then in practice one day I went to do a cut, and when I landed inside very awkwardly, I was kind of on the ground for a minute, and for a second, I got up and walked to our trainer's office, and I was like, it'll be fine. Like, maybe I'll be out for like a couple weeks. And then when I got the MRI results back, it was a really, really tough time for me.
Yeah, what were you feeling when you found out that you were going to be out for the entire season?
Initially, it was just a lot of, I feel like, anger towards myself, just because of a lot of the hard work that I had put in getting ready for the Big 12 season coming up. So yeah, just a lot of frustration. I was sad. Like, I definitely had moments where I was like crying, but just a lot of frustration for the most part.
Yeah, I can only imagine. And you had surgery a while back. Where do you feel like you're at in your current recovery process? How are you feeling right now?
I'm definitely feeling a lot better now. I'm actually 5 months post-surgery today. So I always feel like I'm celebrating my little wins. Like, just recently I started running, and like yesterday I started doing interval running on the treadmill. I've started doing plyometrics. So it's just, I feel like those little things that we all take for granted that we use every day in our life, for me, it's like, wow, I'm so happy just to be able to start lifting heavier or just start doing more, stuff for my recovery.
Yeah.
So it's been pretty fast too, I must say, my recovery. I feel like from when I first had my surgery to the 5 months now, I feel like time's definitely gone fast.
I wanted to ask you, you mentioned a few of the ones that you've been able to do recently, but what have you done to be able to keep your mind and body sharp during this time where you, in essence, kind of have to sit there for a while?
I feel like I'm definitely a very goal-oriented person. So before my surgery, I started like writing out goals of what I wanted to try and do to help keep myself busy. Like, academically, I made a goal for myself that I want to graduate with my undergrad in April. So in 3 years of doing my undergrad, which isn't easy. I'm currently taking 19 credits, but I'm almost there. But that's just an example. Socially, I wanted to make more goals of just going out and doing more stuff. I felt like before I got injured, I was definitely a person that was eat, sleep, breathe basketball, and then go to class, and then after that just go home and go to sleep or whatever. So I felt like this was a good opportunity for me to just start experiencing like college life a little bit more and making friends or just hanging out with more teammates and just going to do more stuff. So that was a goal socially for me. And then even spiritually too, that's where I started just making goals to myself, like, okay, I'm going to start reading like scriptures, start saying like my prayers before I go to bed, start going to church with like teammates and stuff. So I think that's how I've kept myself motivated. I'm not saying that every day though, like I always feel 100% because I don't. Yeah. But for the most part, just setting goals for myself, I felt like it's helped me so far and will continue to.
You're majoring in sports media and journalism. Do you do some play-by-play on the sidelines during practice? Like, since that's what you want to do you catch yourself doing that on the side?
Yeah, I definitely feel like, especially in games, I'm always on the sidelines, just making like notes or just even analytically, I feel like. But yeah, it's been good. I'm also doing an internship under our communications Austin, so that's been really helpful to just seeing the different side of communications. But yeah, I'm definitely on the sidelines during the games. I've definitely picked up a few things.
I love it. What would be your dream job in the sports world?
It's a good. I mean, ultimately, my dream job for me, I think, would be to play professionally, whether that's like overseas or somewhere. But in the media world, I think I would love to do a lot of sports analysis, especially like women's basketball or just like women's sports in general. I feel like that would be my dream or my goal.
That'd be incredible. You originally grew up in New Zealand. What was it like growing up there for you?
Yeah, it was really cool. I've kind of jumped between New Zealand and Australia. So I'm from New Zealand, born in New Zealand, Hamilton. When I was 4, my family, we moved to Australia. And then when I was about 13, we moved back to New Zealand. And then I went for a year by myself when I was 16. And then I finished my senior high school year in Hamilton. So I've been kind of between the two countries. But no, it's really good growing up back home. I feel like it's definitely taught me a lot of things, especially coming here to America. But no, yeah.
So what took you back and forth between the two countries?
Yeah, so initially when my family moved to Australia, it was just better work opportunities for my parents. And then when we moved back to New Zealand, it was because my grandfather, he got sick, my mum's dad. So I think my mum just felt like it was a good time to just move back and just start looking after him before he passed away. And then when I moved by myself when I was 16 to Melbourne, that was more of an opportunity for me just to get a taste of what living away from my family would be like. Because essentially when I moved to college, I'm halfway around the world. So yeah, those were the reasons why I moved between the two countries.
So where is your accent more New Zealander? Is it more Australian? Is there a mesh between the two?
Yeah, there's definitely, I feel like, a mesh. Like if you hear my teammate Kaylee Smiler's accent, hers is definitely more, I would say, New Zealandish. And my parents, they have very staunch New Zealand accents, whereas I feel like I have a mixture between New Zealand and Australia.
That's so funny. How did you originally get into basketball? I want to hear from the very beginning, where did your love for basketball come from?
Yeah, so I think the love of basketball definitely came from my family. My family is a very sporty, competitive family, not just in the sport of basketball, but also netball, soft, rugby union, rugby league, touch. I've had a lot of members of my family that have represented New Zealand in those types of sports. But yeah, basketball, it's always been around my family. My mum played basketball growing up. She played other sports as well, like softball and touch and netball. But yeah, I think that's where my love came from. I initially didn't start playing basketball though until I was about 12. I played netball first. So yeah, that's where I found the love of the game.
Okay, because I know netball is super popular in New Zealand and basketball not as much. So how popular is it? Like, was it hard to find a league to play in, or is it more readily available than that?
No, I think definitely netball and rugby have always been like the top 2 sports in New Zealand. So I think basketball, it's been actually pretty cool to see like the rise of that. A lot of younger kids getting into that. But yeah, it's always been for me a balance between netball and basketball.
Okay. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll hear why Ari chose BYU and her journey to her baptism. This is Her Why. Welcome back to Her Why. I'm Lauren McLean talking with Ari Mackey-Williams from the women's basketball team. So, what was your high school basketball career like in New Zealand?
High school basketball, I played a little bit just because of moving kind of from Australia back home. I actually did play against Kaylee Smiler, who's on my team. I think I would have been year 11. What's that? I think I would have been like a sophomore when she was a senior. So we played against each other a couple times and couple high school Friday night games and also like some tournaments. So yeah, high school basketball I feel like was definitely cool. I didn't really play a lot though in high school basketball because when I moved to my Māori high school, they didn't have like a high school team that I played in. So yeah.
Wow. So, how did you keep up your skill? Because clearly you're very, very good. You made it to the Division 1 college level. That's incredible. So, how did you keep up your skills when you went to that other school?
Yeah, so luckily, one of my uncles, he went to Church College High School with my mum. He coached the boys at Hamilton Boys High. So he let me practice and like train with the boys. So that's what I would normally do. I'd just practice with the guys.
Oh my gosh. No way. How do you feel like that affected your game and how good you were able to play?
Yeah, I mean, playing against guys, obviously they're a lot more athletic than I was, especially. So I think that just helped me adapt to things and having to adjust to just certain things, like how strong or like how faster guys are than me. So yeah, it was really good.
So cool. What were the competitions like between you and Kaylee Smiler back in the day?
Honestly, they were pretty competitive. I can remember some moments, but it was always good. Especially after the games, just like smiling and like laughing at each other. So, just having good times off like being away from playing on the game. But when it came to game time, I felt like both of us were like very, very competitive.
Was it a surprise when you came to BYU and she was here, or was that part of the reason you came to BYU?
Yeah, no, it definitely, I felt like when I look back in hindsight, it was probably one of the reasons. But it also helped having other connections like Chalet Salmon, or Nawahine, as I should say. She came from New Zealand and she played here on the women's basketball team. Our mums actually played high school basketball together, and my mum grew up in like the same area, in Porirua. So yeah, those little links I think help just reaching out and talking to them about their experiences here at BYU. And yeah.
When it was time to go to college, what was your recruitment process like?
Yeah, so initially Dan Nelson, he was the first one who reached out to me and started talking to me and just starting a relationship. And then once Dan left to go coach somewhere else, that's where Ray Stewart, he stepped in and became my main person that started or like that continued my recruiting process here at BYU. So yeah, a lot of when it came to my final decision in terms of why I chose BYU, I think my main reason was just the family environment and love that I could feel just talking to the coaches during my recruiting. Especially being halfway around the world away from my family, to me, it didn't really matter that much about basketball or academics. It was more so just making sure that I felt like loved and cared for. And yeah, I can honestly say in my whole time here at BYU, I've definitely felt that. So it's been a good pick for me.
I love that. Was that your first time to the United States when you came to BYU?
I think it was my second or third time.
Okay.
I came earlier when I lived in Queensland. We had a team that went to LA when I was about, I can't remember how old I was, but yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, huge adjustment for you as a freshman. You come in, new country, new place, new culture than what you're used to. What was that adjustment like your freshman season?
Yeah, honestly, my freshman year, when I think about it, it was really, really tough for me. I think being a freshman is hard in itself, but especially being an international freshman, it definitely was, I felt like, way more of a difficult situation for me. But I'm glad that I had family here that helped me through my freshman year, that reached out and just loved and cared for me as well. So yeah, freshman year, a lot of challenges, a lot of lessons, but I'm definitely grateful for the lessons that I've learned. And I always, especially this season, I try to tell some of my freshmen currently to just trust the process and that everything's going to work out. It may not seem like it right now, but you just got to keep trusting the process.
I think that's great advice. You have all those adjustments you have to make your freshman year. And then you've also been through a cycle of coaching changes your time here at BYU. How did you feel when the coaching staff went through another change with Jeff Judkins leaving and then Amber Whiting stepping into that head coach position?
Yeah, initially it was really sad just because Juddy was the one who gave me the opportunity to be here at BYU. Obviously, I would have loved to have more time with him, but when Coach Amber came, she was very engaged and upfront from the start, and it was also a very hard situation for her as well, just being and coming into a new program with players that she had to develop relationships and stuff like that with. So, yeah.
So you went easy on her because you knew it was going to be
hard. No, I definitely love Coach. From I think the first time we had like our conversations with just one another, I could feel how much she genuinely did love and care for each and every one of us. And I just listened to the plan that she had, and I trusted the plan that she had. But yeah, no, she definitely is a coach too that installs a lot of confidence and belief in each and every one of us girls that are playing. And I think that's something very special for a coach to have. And I also just love how she also cares for each and every one of us like a mum would.
I love that. You've kind of been used to male coaches and being around males because you played with all males in New Zealand, and then you have Jeff Judkins when you come here. What was the transition like having a female coach? Did it feel natural? Was it challenging? What was that like for you?
Yeah, no, I love it. It reminded me of because my mum's been like my main coach ever since I've started playing basketball. So I think it just kind of brought a lot of just flashbacks to having my mum as like a coach too, as like a female, strong female coach. So honestly, I love it too. I would say the adjustment from having a male coach to a female coach, I think it's really cool, especially because I feel like Coach Amber can just understand us girls like on a deeper level, I feel like, than what a male coach would.
Lauren Gustin and Kaylee Smiler, who's also from New Zealand, like you mentioned, they had their senior nights, their last home game against Houston in the Marriott Center. What was it like seeing them play their very last game in the Marriott Center floor?
It was special. I'm just happy that our team could come together and win for our seniors, because that was ultimately the goal, was just to play hard and win, but also do it for our seniors. I will say though, it definitely was a little bit hard for me, and I feel like this whole season, just because I never will get the chance to have the opportunity to play college basketball with them, especially coming off like last season and our preseason. I felt like a lot of us were getting good chemistry or better chemistry with one another. Yeah, that was tough, but I'm also just really proud of the two of them. They're both awesome basketball players, but they're even better people too. So yeah, no, they've had amazing careers respectively, each of them here at BYU.
They definitely have. And something really cool is Kaylee Smiler's family surprised her, performed the haka. Such a cool experience for all of us to witness. Gave me chills. What was that like for you? Because you come from Maori heritage and from New Zealand. What was that like for you to witness?
Cool. I talked to Smy's sister a week before senior night, and asked like, hey, are you guys performing a haka? What haka are you performing? So I jumped in the back where the females go normally in the hakas, and I kind of helped out. But when I saw the video, it was really a special moment for Smy, and then just seeing her reaction too, of like her parents coming and surprising her. Just a lot of aroha, which is love back home. But yeah, it was truly special, and I'm pretty sure it's something that she won't forget, or her family. So yeah, it was really, really cool though. And seeing how it's gone like viral everywhere, I love that too. Just how it shows like our culture internationally. So
yes, so you hopped in the back. You were in the back?
I did. I was in the way back. I was way in the back.
I wish we could have seen that. That's awesome.
No. I'm not the best at performing kapa haka, but I just thought, I'm just gonna do it for my.
I love that. That's incredible. Do you speak Maori? Do you speak that language?
I'm not fluent in speaking the real language, but I can understand a little bit and talk a little bit. But my older siblings, they're definitely more fluent, and I have a lot of family members that are fluent Māori speakers and kapa haka performers.
Incredible. You were recently baptized, Ari, as a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. How long had you been investigating the church and working to get to this point?
Yeah, so I've always been surrounded by the church. My family, members of the church, but for their own reasons, they've become inactive. I think the Church College of New Zealand, it was a LDS high school in Hamilton. That was a big part of my family and a lot of other families, especially members. So yeah, growing up, I've always been around the church. When we moved back to New Zealand, some of my best friends are actually members of the church as well. So I would always go to like church with them or activities and like dances and stuff like that. But yeah, that's my background story, a little bit of that. But for me coming here to Utah, my auntie and my uncle, they were the ones that helped initially me just learning more about the church and its gospel teachings and principles. And then so throughout my college career so far, I've been around it, but it wasn't until my ACL injury where I think kind of a light switch flipped in my brain that just kind of helped me and just reassured me that this is something that I want to do.
Was it just kind of all that time being able to relax and not think about basketball and contemplate life a little more? Do you think that played a big role in it?
Definitely, especially I remember before my surgery, I had a lot of like thoughts and just feeling of like doubt and just worry a little bit. But then one day I just said a prayer, and then afterwards I started feeling just like a prompting that to turn to Heavenly Father. And actually my family also were the ones who told me just to like turn to Him and just start doing the little things. So yeah.
Being here at BYU, what role did your teammates play in your eventual conversion to the church?
They were definitely huge. My teammates, my coaches, just my whole team, even the practice guys. I actually asked one of my teammates if we could do the missionary talks at her house or her apartment. So that was pretty cool one for her to just be open to that, and then also having other teammates come and support me, even the practice guys too, is something that was definitely special and something that I won't forget. So yeah, no, my whole team collectively have been a huge part of my process and helping me.
Which teammate was it that you had the lessons at her house?
It was Emma Calvert.
Okay, so cool. At what point did you decide it was time to set your baptismal date where you're like, okay, this is it, let's do it?
It wasn't my choice initially. When we were having the missionary talks, I think Emma just explained that, yep, she definitely wants to get baptized. If we could like try speeding up the lessons, and even I talked to the missionaries about that. So when I think it was like the second lesson, they gave us a date at the end of February. So I was surprised, definitely surprised at how fast it was.
You're like, okay, here we go, changing my life forever, right?
Pretty much.
Your uncle was the one who was able to baptize you. What was that experience like for you?
Yeah, it was definitely something very special. Like I said, my auntie and my uncle have been the ones that initially helped me just learn more about the church since being here in Utah, right here at BYU. So it was definitely a special moment for both of us.
You mentioned that some of your family members were baptized, but they're no longer active in the church. Were you nervous at all about standing out and kind of choosing a different path than what they've chosen?
Not really. I'm definitely very grateful for my family, though. They've been very supportive of me and my choice to become a member of the church. Something that was definitely much more special, though, was my dad. He came and supported me, and he's not a member of the church. So having my dad there supporting me and sitting like right in the front row was definitely something that I'll cherish. And I'm definitely grateful for him and just my whole family being really supportive of my choice.
Did he have a good experience? Your dad?
Yeah, he did. He did.
Good. In an Instagram post, you said that you'd always felt a special connection to the church. Why is that?
I think that's just because of me growing up around the church, being always surrounded by the church. In all honesty, I feel like this church was pretty much the only church I kind of knew compared to like a lot of other religions and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's what I meant by my special connection. It's just my family being in the church and just being growing up around it.
How do you feel like BYU has helped shape you into the person that you are now?
Yeah, I definitely think that it's made me a better person. And it's definitely through the church, I feel like, especially, it's just made me kind of, my perspective on life, I feel like, has changed for the better and stuff like that. So yeah, being here at BYU has definitely helped me for the better in terms of just my whole outlook on a lot of things in my life and who I want to be.
Yes. You've had a lot of life changes here at BYU. You sounds like you're recovering nicely from your ACL injury. As you prepare for your senior season, what are you most looking forward to?
I think I'm just looking forward to being back, playing with my teammates, and just having the opportunity to be able to play again. Hopefully, knocking on wood, I can return back next season healthy and just ready to play. And I think just a lot of the lessons that I've learned while being off on the sidelines, hopefully I can help being on the court, being more of a leader to some of my other teammates, and especially the younger ones that are coming in next season, just trying to help them in any way that I can, whether it's on the court or off the court.
Are you itching to get back on the court, though?
I am. It's definitely been pretty tough for me, just sitting on the sidelines, and especially tournament time coming up. Anything can happen. So, I mean, I'm always cheering for my team, but yeah, there's a part of me that's like, man, I wish I could be out there playing with them.
Yeah, soon enough. We're talking to Ari Mackey-Williams from the women's basketball team and recent convert to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Ari, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story with me.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thanks also to Annie Robinson and Sydney Simpson for producing this episode. Cleon Wall is the senior producer. Her Why is a production of BYU Radio.